to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
We're going full board Pokemon More Extreme with Volume 4 going this week. You know what's actually kind of funny, though? Is just being in this kind of Pokemon mood, I was like, I'm going to go back and play Pokemon Emerald. So I've been kind of playing through this, and I forgot, like, what... There was, like, the second rival, I guess you would say, in it. Because the first one's mainly just whoever you choose. You either choose a boy or a girl. And then that other person becomes, like, your rival. And they're kind of like just a straightforward rival, like, not like an asshole, not trying to really be your friend, like almost like a middle ground thing. Like the best way to say it in that game is it's like, it just feels like, oh, that's like that guy I know from school. You know?
Like that acquaintance, he's an acquaintance, like, oh, hey, man, how you doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
all right, bye. That's
like,
as much as you need.
Yeah, he's not your friend, but it's not like you hate him either, I guess. That's like the best way to sort of say it. But this is the part that I forgot. The other rival is there's like, literally like a special ed kid that like, is there, he's like, you know, and then, like, of course, the uncle shows up. He's like, oh, yeah, this is Wally. Yeah, he's not too good at catching Pokemon, you see. He's, I'm just gonna be nice about it. He's fucking retarded. But, hey, you know, you should come on by sometime and show him some of your cool Pokemon tricks. And then at, like, some point, you, like, catch him a Rattata. He's like, oh, I got a Rattata! I'm gonna be the best Pokemon trainer ever! And it's like, and the uncle's like, okay, Wally, go calm down. Go back to your room now. And then I love how he comes up to talk to you afterwards. Like, he looks left around like, okay, I gotta put up with this. It's getting real annoying real fast. Shit, he's been singing the SpongeBob SquarePants song at fucking full volume the last fucking 3 weeks straight. I don't know what to do. I thought the Rattata would be enough. It's not enough to distract him.
He's actually trying to teach it how to sing. He's holding his face up to it and screaming in its face, oh, I've said pineapple, I'm gonna sing!
The Rattata's trying to fucking escape. It's like crawling at like the fucking window, trying to break out and whatnot. He's like, go back here, Rattata! The
thing wants to go back into its ball.
Yeah, it really does. And then it tried drowning itself the other day, too. He's like, I want you to go in there and don't defeat the Rattata, just defeat Wally. Could you do that for me? Just, give him like a fire blast or something, But I just thought I'm like that's fucking hilarious. Could you imagine that nowadays, like having a special ed kid being like fucking like, I guess it's not really like a rival, and I think it's supposed to be done kind of nice, but when you just kind of realize what it is, you're like, oh, well, that's a interesting choice.
Well, I never play that one. Is it just a kid who's just not very good at it and he's just a little oblivious, or is it full on like he's rolling by in crutches or some shit?
Well, he's not like crippled, He's just like, you could just tell that he's definitely riding the short bus or something. So something's there. The game doesn't explain to you exactly what it is, but you know something's up. He's living with his fucking uncle. That should tell you something.
Is he a little older than you? A little younger than you or something?
Yeah.
No, he's 35.
Shit, his uncle's only 22.
Let's see how that happened.
You know how those backwoods families can be sometimes, but no, I just think it's kind of weird how that. Yeah, I mean, then every once in a while he'll show up and be like, I trained my Rattata, and then he like throws out, it's like level 8, and you're like, shit, I'm like fucking level 35. You sure you want to do this, kid? Like, Pokemon fucking master here in the works.
They can only say their name, but the Rattata makes hard eye contact with you and mouths "end me."
Yeah, just throw that. I know it's against all the rules, but just literally. Technically, you caught me anyways. At the end of the day, he didn't fucking do shit.
He wants the $1 million baby, this thing.
Yeah.
Assistant suicide with this shit.
But I just thought that was kind of fun. It was just one of those ones like, oh, that's different, And it's kind of fun going back to like an older Pokemon when you like, you've been kind of playing like all the new ones and so on. Just being like, oh yeah, what was it like in that kind of like second wave of Pokemon? I guess you can kind of say. Well,
is that third generation or fourth generation?
It'd be like third generation, I guess. Depends on how you kind of look at it. Do you define the generations by the Pokemon games, or do you define them by the system they're on?
I define them by the game.
Yeah, that's mostly how I'd kind of say it. But, like, there's almost something, like, once you get, like, it's like, oh, shit, it's on Game Boy Advance, so it's got kind of, like, all those extra features, and, the graphics look like Super Nintendo and all that kind of neat era of Pokemon.
And going forward on this one, because we jumped over to Volume 4 now, and I guess we're just going to at least finish the Kanto region. But going on this one does a shift It opens up with like Red saving, this like mailman child who was just like, I don't know how this kid got a job, but anyway.
I don't know, is it supposed to be a kid? I thought that was supposed to be an adult.
I don't know. He looks really small. Maybe it is adult. Maybe
like he's just got like a baby face or something like that.
Well, it's anime, so usually they always have baby face, unless it's an old person. Like, oh, what's this person? Oh, they're over 40, so here's some lines on their face.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, that guy right there who just, like, he's like, oh, God, good thing you came along, son. I've been fucking working this route, and I've never seen Pokemon this angry before.
Yeah, we forgot to mention at the beginning, they show Agatha or whatever, the old lady.
The old ghost lady.
From the Elite Four, like, grabbing that, like, weird badge container thing over from, like, the Sif ruins, basically. And then Red gets a letter from Bruno. And Bruno's like, I don't need to train this kid. This is stupid. L'Oreal's like, oh, well, we should probably train him. There's, at first, like, wait, are they bad guys in this, too? Is just everybody other than, like, Red, Oak, and, like, 3 gym members an asshole?
Well, it's kind of interesting how they sort of go about the Elite Four in this one. It's like they treat the Elite Four, instead of being like, hey, they're the tip top of like Indigo Plateau, it's like, no, these are like the fucking hardcore trainers of the hardcore trainers. And the idea that a fucking like 13-year-old boy is fucking Pokemon Master just pisses them the fuck right off. So they're gonna go let them, know how they feel about it by like whooping them in a Pokemon match. And I'm like, that's kind of just an interesting concept. It's just the fact it's like, no, fuck that kid who thinks he's better than us. We're fucking like 45 years old here. And Agatha, God knows how old she is.
Well, that's the thing about this, because I think that is kind of an interesting concept. The idea of like, oh, no, they're not working with anybody in particular. They take it so serious that everything to them has to link to a battle or war. So you're like, well, you know what? If he wasn't prepared for me to like firebomb his house at night, that's on him, because this is fucking Kanto.
Yeah, well, it's that thing. It's just like ever since Red 1, it's just like people just keep coming. It's almost like it goes to show. It's like, oh, this is the problem about being a Pokemon Master, is that everybody comes up to you wanting to challenging you. It's literally like being Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Just the justification. Every time he was on a set, someone would be challenging him. Just about.
Yeah, exactly, and that's almost how Red's life is now. And at first he's kind of cocky, like, yeah, well, I'm a Pokemon Master, 13 years old. I've seen the world.
And they say it's 2 years after Indigo Plateau, and it took that long from the say, you know what, fuck this 13-year-old boy. It took him that long to do it, but Oak and Misty are in a Skype call basically, and they're just saying, oh well, Blue went off to his own thing, Green went off to her own thing. I don't know what's going on. Then all of a sudden Pikachu comes just busting in, just all cut up and like haggard, be like, they came from all directions.
I love the picture of Pikachu coming through the door like he just got back from fucking Vietnam. It almost looks like in this one shot, he's like an ear was blown off.
It looks like it. It's not, but it almost looks like that.
But yeah, it's just one of those ones which just like comes in and just be like, death. What do y'all know about death? Pika! And just passes out right there on the floor.
He's picked up a habit of chain smoking from this day forward.
Yeah, exactly. Just been like, oh, me and Red were out there, and Bruno came out of nowhere. And yeah, I don't know what he is. I mean, he could be Samoan, but he could be Vietnamese too. We weren't too sure.
He looked a lot like Jason Momoa if he used more hair gel.
Exactly. And also kind of looks like he's somewhat related to Brock, but I guess there is no connection there. This Pikachu, I shouldn't be racist thinking that, but you know how it is. Small town thing.
I come from Viridian Forest. Not a whole lot of open minds out there.
You don't want to get a conversation between like a Caterpie and a Weedle. Oh, jeez. Don't bring those to a family reunion. Oh God.
It's gonna bring it's nothing but race wars between Caterpies and Weedles.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just arguing about who's gonna be president and so on. You wouldn't think a Caterpie and a Weedle would have so much thought, but I guess they just got a lot of free time on their hands to sit there and research this stuff.
All I can say is before you go into that forest, take off the Bernie shirt. but I'll be walking around just shirtless. I know it might feel weird. Just don't go in there with the Bernie shirt. The Weedle is gonna have something to say.
Yeah, he'll let you feel the burn, all right.
I don't want to associate like I don't want to like guilt by association, but Weedles do. All right, so
yeah, you know what I mean. It's that poison sting that they always leave you with. But Pikachu comes in, and then we have this like, which I thought was a girl until about like good like 2 chapters into here, because I mean look at that, like what boy wears a hat like that? That's just all I gotta say.
He's supposed to be like a little farm kid. Now, here's the thing about this character. Now, they don't say his name for a while, but his name is Armorillo. They just call him Yellow for short. And essentially, I don't know for how long, but for this volume, this is the main new character. And initially, I was just kind of, all right, is this going to just be for a chapter? I'm like, oh no, this is for the whole book. I wonder how long this is going on for. And the thing with this character, I guess it's the thing they do anything. Anytime they suddenly have a new character come out of nowhere, there is this a little bit of initial like knee-jerk reaction, like, who the fuck is this? What's with that stupid fucking hat? Why is he riding a duo? Fuck this kid. But as it goes on, it's like, he's not a bad character. He's actually, he is a likable character, and he is, I think he'd be better off in a spin-off or as a good side character. I hope they come back to Red soon, but regardless, I know this is a book that came out in the 90s, but regardless, I do think that he is a good character. I think it would have been more interesting, because essentially, he comes across Pikachu, and they're like, this is Red's Pikachu, or this is Red's Pikachu. Where the fuck is he? Where is he? They're trying to find him. And he has a natural psychic link. He can basically read the minds of Pokemon. So from there, they end up trying to find out where Red is, and Pikachu's their only lead. And he also has, I think he has the ability to heal him once he hugs him.
Yeah, he's got like weird psychic powers and this kind of connection. And the odd way they kind of, it's like one's like, Yellow is that kind of thing. 'Cause, you know, you look at him and he's dressed like he's from like the 1600s, like he's supposed to be hanging out with like, you know, Don Quixote or something like that. They give him he's like supposed to be like a Spaniard, which is kind of like what throws you off. You're like, oh, I didn't expect like an old-timey looking Spaniard boy to show up.
In the Kanto region.
In the Kanto region.
Because he has a long name. Amarillo, Develia, some
yeah, it's
long
Amarillo,
name.
Whatever, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, and I just like how Blaine's like, boy, I'm just going to call you Yellow. Like, you're in fucking Japan or America, depending on how you're reading this. So it's just like one of those ones like, you know, shit up. Greatest mind in all of Kanto? I ain't fucking calling you that name.
Well, he does have this thing. He does do this thing where he comes in. I don't know where he's weird with people, but he has this bond with animals. So it is kind of like, oh, is he like Simple Jack, kind of? You know, but
you will make me happy.
So, but as it goes on, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say is like he has like the kind of the weird thing where like he doesn't like, because even Professor Oak's like, okay, he's like, you break in here, you know who this Pikachu is. I don't fucking trust you, kid. I don't trust you, kid. Any kid with a hat like that, dressed like he's fucking in like the Legend of Zelda or something like that. I know it's Nintendo, but it's fucking weird when it crosses over here.
That's on the other island.
Yeah, and then of course, like when he goes to battle, like he knows he's like, Professor Oak's like, you can't win. You don't have any good skills. You're a low, level Pokemon trainer. And then of course he uses like the power of love. And, you know, they'll like kind of fight his way through, and he does like an attack that pretty much ends up making like, I guess Professor Oak just has a Spearow for some reason, like that one that he catches in the very beginning. He's like, you know that one that I was showing you how to catch a Pokemon with? Well, shit, I guess I just keep it around.
Well, he won with it. He won with it in the match. Indigo.
Well, it's almost like one of those ones, like, it made me kind of wonder when I saw him, like, does that mean that Professor Oak was like, here, this is how you catch a Pokemon? It's like, he's just recatching his own Pokemon, isn't I see this fucking scam.
He just, like, mouths Spear, like, play dead. Like,
yeah. This is what he tells all the new starters.
Well, something I do like about Yellow is they get across through this that he really doesn't want to battle. He just basically wants to make friends with them, because he can't make friends with people, but he can make friends with them. Mm-hmm. So, and it's kind of interesting in the idea that he'll get into battles, but he'll do it in a way where it either minimizes the attack and they just get out of there. So his whole thing is he has this whole passive way of fighting. He doesn't even want to fight. He just basically wants to get out of there and incapacitate him. That's what he does. He's not trying to be a trainer. He's just basically trying to do the right thing and get Pika back to Red.
He's like the Sways in Roadhouse. He's just in there. He's like, just be nice. Just show up. If someone wants to start a fight, you be nice. It's like how
even the Sways eventually is like, ripping throats out and like like come here, man! Like chucks the body into the water. So I don't know if he's gonna do that with like Blue. Or Bruno or something. He's gonna be looking at Lance like across like a river, like rip his throat out, just chuck him in there. He just hops on his body like a raft and floats across the river to fight him.
Well, it is kind of interesting because that's one of those characters that like almost if you told somebody about this book and like you explained this character was, they'd be like, fuck that, I'm not reading that book. You know what I mean? It almost has like that kind of feeling to it. But he's not like, his character almost sounds like the ultimate bitch character, but then you realize it's like, oh no, he's fucking really smart and still really good, and he still wins. It's not like he's cheating his way through. He's not finding some stupid like love path that doesn't exist in life. You know what I mean? Like everything he does is like, it sort of works, and you kind of go, yeah, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Like he's got a different view than everybody else, but I get it, and it works. It's kind of weird how that is, because it just feels like a character that almost you want to sort of hate, but then you kind of realize you're like, no, there's actually nothing I hate about this character. Actually, I'm down. Let's go save Red.
I don't hate him at all. I'm just kind of like, I prefer Red because it was his story initially, and this character comes out of nowhere.
Fucking Yellow.
But like you said, yeah. But like I said though, he's not like by any means a bad character or a weak character. He's just going about it a different way. I guess a way you don't see it. Once again, whenever the battles happen in this, they always have these very interesting, intricate ways rather than, oh, it's fire, so use water, So like there's, and while he basically takes, I'll say this, I do kind of think it would be interesting if, and I'm not expecting the team from the show like Brock and Misty, but if it just focused on one of the gym leaders, like one of the gym leaders was looking for Red, and we saw their interaction, but it's more following Yellow and his interaction with the different gym leaders in the process.
Yeah, and I mean, it also says game-wise, it makes sense, I guess, because Yellow came out, and then it's just like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. You're making Yellow almost seem like the game is like a full-on kind of like sequel to Red and Blue, instead of just being sort of like a revamped version.
That's probably something they did, and it's probably like, well, why don't we just switch off right now? And I think they just want to have a character named after every, which I'm wondering if the other generations is just like, oh, my name's Gold, my name's Silver, like everyone, like what happens, like.
It is. Because I was looking at the books like online. It was just like the description on the back of the gold and silver ones. It's like, oh, gold and silver, go on an adventure, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, okay. So they are.
So X and Y then, too?
I guess. And then black and white. Like, I wonder how that one goes.
What, you're actually gonna make them both black, and you're actually gonna do that? Oh shit. Let's pull it back for a minute.
That seems like something that Japan would do, and it wouldn't even cross their mind. You know what I mean?
Like what? What?
What's wrong with it? We're Asian. We're in the in-between. We can do whatever we want. Don't you fucking tell us how to run our job. What, you don't want to play the next Pokemon? Is that how it is? Yeah, that's what I fucking
You'll still
thought.
buy it. We'll throw it out there. You'll still buy it. Why? It's Pokemon.
Yeah. Shit. But
eventually he runs into Bill out in the forest.
Yeah, because Bill's out there doing research or some shit, and then he kind of like stumbles across the boy, and the boy's just kind of like out there, just like he's always falling asleep too. It's like I guess just those psychic powers overwhelm him, so he's just out there sleeping. He's got
apnea. Is that apnea is it called sleep apnea when you just fall asleep out of nowhere?
I thought that was the one where like you suffocate like when you sleep.
Maybe not. Oh, maybe that is. Oh, yeah. That's
when you need like the mask or whatever, and you got like the apparatus hooked up.
Yeah.
And
I used to work with somebody that would just fall asleep if he sat still too long.
That's where you just get to the point where you're like, Bob Dole.
Bob Dole.
Just slowly.
Family Guy still has a couple, like the older ones. I'm sure if you watch the new ones, there's still some good jokes. So there's still those older jokes, like Bob Dole likes you, Bob Dole. Bob Dole. I like how it just goes on just a minute longer. Bob Dole.
Yeah, just kind of, it's just like light humor, but it's like, oh, that's hilarious. I mean, great, that probably wouldn't be that funny to somebody. Well, I don't know, maybe you think it's funny, because like, who the hell knows who Bob Dole is anymore?
I don't know who the fuck Bob Dole is. Yeah, that was such, you had to be in the 90s to remember Bob Dole. We had to reach 2006 or 7. Who the fuck? Oh, right, yeah. Almost president. Okay.
Yeah, that guy. But, What is
It's
it?
between Bill. It's between a guy who loves playing the saxophone and blowjobs, and a dude, an old fucker in like a Viagra commercial.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it is. But where the heck were we at? Well, Bill comes there, he stumbles across, he's like, hey, that's the Pikachu I know. Hey, Pika, you get over here. And then, of course, Pika just kind of like is chasing a butterfly, and he's like, hey, don't fucking touch me.
Wait, I'm sorry, I just want to double check, going back. Did Bob Dole go against, no, it was Al Gore and Bush. Never mind. Sorry, yeah, going back to this, my bad.
I want to say Bob Dole even went back.
Clinton.
Like he was like one of those guys who ran multiple times and just never kind of made it.
It was Clinton. It was Clinton, and Bob Dole was the big one. I was thinking, was it him and... No, it would have to be, Al Gore and Bush. That's what it was before. Yeah, going forward with this. Anyway, yeah.
But Bill, and he's there. He recognizes the Pikachu. He sees the boy just snoozing away with like a Seadra, like in a fishing pole. And I like at first Bill's like, what's that fucking device he's got there? Like, don't he be daring, and doing any other patents other than mine? He's like, oh, it's just a Pokeball attached to a line. Good. Thought I was going to have to murder this kid in his sleep and take his technology, like Thomas Edison.
I really like Bill in this series.
I do too. I love, like, it's one of those ones, like, in a sense, like, the Bill and Yellow, like, combination, if that was kind of, like, would last longer, I'd be like, I'm fine with that, because I actually, like, throw Bill in there.
Cranky this like, the combination of Bill in this is just because he has that old crush that, well, God damn it, I tells you, but he's a scientist, and he's good at what he does.
Yeah, that's what I love.
He walks around in a tie.
He's like, almost like he breaks the Southern like stereotype where it's like, a lot of times they always use that like, oh, it's a character that's kind of dumb, give him a Southern accent. Like they used to do that a lot. I noticed like in animes, be like, why does this character? Oh, I see why he has a Southern accent, or why she has a Southern accent. Because she's a barmaid. That's why she has a Southern accent. And it almost be like that kind of stereotype. But I almost like how they do it in this one. It's like, no, the smartest guy in here has a Southern accent, and that's cool.
And then in the middle of all that, because I guess they just caught a Seadra
or something.
Happened. They caught a Seadra, and that's when L'Oreal comes out and attacks him. Lorelai, yeah, that's her name. Yeah, attacks him. Well, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's make believe. That's what it is. Make believe. I'm getting mixed up.
As I say, that's what I was thinking of right there. I love how she just shows up. It's just like there's just like a scientist and like a boy. She's like, fuck that kid. I'm gonna just fuck this guy up. And just this ginormous battle happens. And Bill's all like, boy, wake up! Shit, we're being fucking invaded.
Well, it's also like, I'll say this, they want to kill the Pika because essentially this is like the only tie to Red. We don't want anyone to know what we did with this 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, it's like there could be no like connections, you know what I mean? You gotta cut all the losses here. And it's just like, well, what did they do with the fucking Red? It's like Bruno just like beat him. He's like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh I went too far, I took too far, I killed the boy, I killed a boy. Be like, Bruno, you were just supposed to defeat him in a Pokemon battle. He's like, Bruno can't lose. Bruno just had to take it to the next level. Don't look at me like that, Geodude. Don't you look at me.
You're a part of it too. You used Rock Slide.
What do you think was going to happen? He was standing towards the edge of a cliff. Don't pull the fucking Pokemon card. Don't pull it. Just because you're a Pokemon, you don't have fucking rights. You know what I mean? Like, we're tied in this together.
If I'm going down, you're coming with me. We're all going down together if I'm going down. We gotta find the body. Just think. They get down there. There's just like a little puddle of blood. They don't know where the body went off to. Like, is he still alive? Did someone take the fucking body? Fuck! Fuck! It just comes like this intense like drama.
It's just like one of those ones that the rest of the Elite Four are like, we have to go out and make this right, you know what I mean? Like, we'll keep it in the family here, and
we don't want to do
the
this,
mob will take care of it.
We don't want to do this, but we got to, What if we find out that, I don't know, so far they look like they're doing some evil, devious shit as the book goes on. What if they find out, like, no, we're just trying to let the kid be part of our club,
Yeah, exactly.
And Pika just came back. He just was having a night on the town. He just came back super haggard and drunk. He got involved in a hit and run.
Yeah, he was just hallucinating and so on, and just kind of thought this whole thing up. Like the Elite Four is just these great people or whatever, and just been like, oh man, like that Pikachu just that bender just went too far, and next thing you know, he was 3 regions over.
And it all started with like with a conversation between a Weedle and a Caterpie over politics, and it just escalated.
It escalated so much that Weedle evolved to a Beedrill that night. I mean, I know it doesn't take that many levels, but he got
steps.
He got that angry.
Stabbed the bartender.
Yeah, everybody was poisoned.
Stabbed the bouncer. Yeah, the bouncer was a Machop, by the way.
It was just a fury attack of all fury attacks. You know, you think it's only going to run 2 to 5 turns, but it just kept going and going and going. But Lorelei,
after that, he just starts chanting his arms in the air, screaming "MAGA, MAGA."
Just like, oh god, it's just too crazy. Pikachu stumbles back, but
get that thing in a ball already.
But yeah, but in this one here, Lorelei just comes in. She's just like full on, just like destroying this camp here and just tearing it up with like her Dugong and all like her ice type Pokemon. Just really like to the point where like Yellow's like, yo, let's get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't kill. And it's Bill's like, what do you mean you don't kill? He's like, yeah, he's like, I just don't kill. He's like, but she's trying to fucking kill you. You fucking crazy boy.
Maybe I am. But
he's like, I got a different way that I go about things, man. It's called the power of love. Like,
you're fucking stupid.
You're like the boy with the monkey on like Captain Planet. Like, love? What's that gonna fucking do? Here.
That was the thing, because what did they do? Because I'm trying to think back on that. Maybe it did something, but in Captain Planet, because, like Earth, they can make fire, like Earth come out, blow it with wind or whatever. But what did the love guy do? The people start like hugging or fucking or something? It's like heart or whatever.
Oh, look at the men in hazmat suits are like butt fucking each other over the pile of waste. We solved it again, right, Planeteers?
We have to call Captain Planet. Hey, Puerto Rican kid, just make him start fucking. Right? We can go home a lot quicker. We don't need to get. I guess they could use some fire on us or whatever. But if we just start making them fuck, we can bounce.
Yeah, true.
Captain Planet's like, you need me? No, we made an orgy happen. We're good. What? Yeah.
Power of love. Oh. Did you play the Huey Lewis song we did? No. Oh, you fucking ruined the moment then. Go back and make it right.
Just thinking back. I remember, I want to say it was Djibouti Dubs where they were like voicing over Captain Planet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what it was exactly, but the little like Puerto Rican kid runs off crying at some point, and the black kid's like, he's gonna go fuck that monkey, right?
Oh, it's just the little things in life. Why do you think Gary's around? Like, he ain't fucking one of these other 2 chicks. He ain't fucking, like, one of us guys either, so we know he's fucking the monkey.
Just saying.
Just saying. It's that kind of thing. What's that thing that Sherlock Holmes always says? That, well, even if it's not plausible, but, like, you've went through everything else, it has to be the truth? Yeah, that's what I just did. I'm paraphrasing it here, but you know what I mean.
I mean, like, what's that thing? What's that thing Sherlock Holmes always said? Oh, he's fucking that monkey. Which book was that in? I don't remember. Maybe it was the 3rd one.
I don't know. Shit, it's probably an observation he made about Watson at one point when he was in a bakery. At some point he's gonna fuck one of those pastries. Just saying. He likes the pastries a little too much. Let's just be honest there. Watson's got. He's got that addiction there, It's not the same as, I mean, like, would I call cocaine an addiction? No, I call it part of the job. Watson, the
For me, it's not recreational. What's he doing, like...
What? Which one? Oh, Sherlock Holmes?
Was he doing, like, opium and all that in some of the old books or something? They just ignore it now?
Well, he literally was doing cocaine because at that time period, cocaine was looked upon as like, oh, it's like a health... It'd be like taking an energy drink. It'd be like, oh, Sherlock Holmes is sponsored by Monster. That was sort of how it was. It's like he would use it to, like, kind of just be like, oh, I need to solve this riddle a little bit faster. Just puts a line out.
He starts doing the Let's fucking beat Moriarty! Woo!
Just getting all amped and psyched for it and what have you. But
first I gotta take a shit.
yeah, exactly. But back to Pokemon. It's just there's this fucking huge battle. It just goes on for quite some time. Even Cloyster's getting fucking into it and whatnot. And she's just, Lorelei's just fucking tearing this shit up. And then I think it's almost like when they eventually do escape and they run away on the Dewdog, and almost like she's even like looking at them like, "You fucking pussies, get back here! Be a fucking man!"
Well, they even do. It's one of those things. It's like we can break into it probably if we wanted to, like the complex way. I want to say there's like if we get at this angle, that's just enough room to throw a ball out, but then have them charge up and do. They have all these crazy, complicated things that always happen in these battles, and just reciting them isn't as interesting. But
no, yeah,
it's always kind of just interesting to see him get out of it, just very narrowly,
Yeah, just kind of how it is. And when he runs away, he announced like he literally has that thing where he announces his name like the guy in fucking Princess Bride. Almost.
Prepare it
was
like you killed my father. Prepare to die. Emirio del
Bosque Verde.
Bosque Verde, yeah.
But and it's just like, and everybody's just kind of like, what? Just call me fucking Yellow.
I'm dressed in yellow, easy to remember that way, and blonde hair.
That's what it fucking means, and it's Yellow of the Viridian Forest, but that all went over your head, so just fucking, I'm Yellow.
Well, there's also the whole thing with this, when he first gets out there, because the battle with Lorelei happens for a while, and there's a part where they're on top of like a frozen wave that they created, and they think they're cornered, also they drop down, and they're like, what'd you do? Like, oh, I had my Rat-a-tat just chew at this thing, and we got out of there. And that's just another thing that's interesting about this character, because he doesn't really have the greatest team. He just has like a duo and a Rat-a-tat. And those are like the most basic ass, like, really? This thing? But it makes sense, because he doesn't train him to fight. He just trains him to get out of there.
Yeah.
So everything on his team, as it goes on, he gets a couple other things from other people. But as it goes on, like, oh, wow. You look at his team, it doesn't look that cool, but he knows how to use them just to get out of there and be more of a pacifist.
Yeah, he's just got like this certain wit and kind of skill and like these other techniques that like someone would be like, well, that Rat-Tat's only like level 11. He's like, yeah, but he has these like, abilities that other Rat-Tats wouldn't have. So it's just, it's interesting because that's the whole thing is you go through this and it's like the character that like if you try to describe him in like a sentence or two, you'd be like, fuck that character, that's a little bitch, But then you're like, oh no, he's not at all. He's actually fucking tough as nails, but like in a completely different way.
And then we cut over to Erica, who's teaching like at a university.
Yeah, there's that professor who's like, Erica, you think you could teach her a little bit longer? It's just like the guy's like fucking one of those ones like 4 foot tall,
swirly eyes. Yeah,
just like, oh god. He's probably like trying to put cameras in the restroom. That kind of fucking guy.
He's trying to pull a Chuck Berry.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, and she's like, no, I have gym duties to do. Oh well, but because it's like I look like I'm like, what is this, like a kid that fucking graduated? It's like, oh no, that's just the university guy's like, it's like this is as far as I got in life, and I thought that why leave school?
Yeah,
I'll just work here for the end of time.
I already got my tenure.
Yeah.
Well, then Pika has this really rough flashback where Red, you see all his characters knocked out. He's about to fall down a cliff. A Hitmonlee, which they have stretchy legs in this, like spring legs, kind of like that ARMS game for Switch. Flat out just does a baby. This like does a baby killer right to like Red's stomach, and then he falls off a cliff. And Pika just keeps waiting, like, oh my god, just in cold sweats, like cold, like, war flashbacks.
Yeah, exactly. Just wakes up in the fucking middle of the night. He's fucking breathing hard and whatnot. And then, like, Yellow's like, just like, it's okay, Pikachu. It's okay. I understand.
He runs off and he says, like, you can't go running off. I know you want to save him right now, but we're not ready. Basically, he just calms him down, says, like, we're going to find him, but you're our only lead. And if you go right now, you're going to die. So they're looking for you. The only thing we can do is do this together. And he's a little bit grudging about it. But that's where Erica shows up with all her students. Like, we're here for backup.
And this is the part that's kind of like, this part's fucking ballsy as fuck, because all of a sudden it's like, you see like fucking Red come stumbling out, and they're like, oh god, Red's back, he's back! And then Pikachu runs and jumps towards him, and then there's like this moment like, wait a second, something's not fucking right here. And then like, Erica's around there, she's like, Red, I'm glad you're fucking alive. And then he literally just fucking sucker punches her, like, right in the fucking gut. Yeah, just like, as hard as fucking possible. And it's just like, and then you realize later, it's like, oh, it's not fucking Red, it's the super nerd. Like, I love how they also will take, like, just regular, like, villains and, like, kind of make a character out of them. It's like,
well, I even thought for a minute, I thought the yellow was, like, a bug catcher or something like that.
Yeah, that's like I thought too, because he does have that sort of look to him, like the bug catcher character and whatnot. Except for the bug catcher, I almost want to say was wearing like overalls or something, the original one, with like no shirt on. Once again, really not helping the fucking cause for the bug catcher.
Well, the bug catcher was like the creator's like spirit animal, because that's what eventually inspired the whole idea of Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Was going out in the woods and just like capturing shit. And it was like, well, you know what? It's kind of barbaric just to like go out there and murder these insects and then put them on your wall for your own amusement. You know.
But if it's in a video game,
it's in a video game. Shit, because then I realized that once I saw my collection, and then I played Resident Evil Code Veronica, and I saw that really creepy guy in there who dressed up as his dead sister's collection, and I was like, I don't want to be associated with that guy.
Well, then they have this big fight with Super Nerd and the whole thing with him, because Super Nerd, he was just like some like miscellaneous like trainer type of trainer you'd bump into usually around like labs or whatever, right?
Yeah, because he'd have like magnetons, and he'd have, I guess what you'd call like math and science Pokemon,
Mucks, all that.
Yeah.
And he would basically, he has a Marowak, and he's kind of going, and nobody can get near him because he's basically, he can't, like, Pikachu can't get away from him because he has this thing insulated. He's wearing, like, this clear suit, basically, over his skin, which makes it so he can't get electrocuted. And on top of that, the suit is also made to smell like red. So, like, wait, it smells like red? That's how it fooled Pikachu? Well, maybe if we can get this info out of him, we can figure out where Red's at. That's a clue.
Yeah, and then it's like even like Erica too. It's like she's been like hitting the gut so hard that she's just fucking out of breath, just on the ground, like fucking like almost like she's in.
And he's like stepping on her while she's down and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, dude, fucking like Erica just gets like, man, it's like Jesus Christ. He just doesn't give a flying fuck. He's just like, you know what, fucking Red.
This dude's a total incel. Yeah.
Well, this is just like guy's just like fucking like, you know what? Life has like been fucking shitty to me the whole time, so I'm gonna be shitty to it.
And he comes in like he basically he's mostly just trying to run away, and through that eventually leads to a battle. And for a minute, this is where you also get the whole like simple Jack thing from Yellow, because like, look, he has a journal. Like, oh, it's a sketchbook. And
they're not the greatest drawings either. Yeah, there's something about like, it'll be interesting to see what Yellow's origin story ends up being. Like, where did this boy come from?
Yeah, and as it goes on, they have this bit more of a battle, and they're trying to just capture the nerd guy, but he's doing all this devious shit. Like, he's taking like he has like a Paris. He'll have the thing like douse like a Marowak's bone and poison powder, and they toss it, and then he has a Persian who's scratching a wall, like causing like supersonic noises so they can't hear nothing. And that's where he suddenly gets backup. And it's kind of funny because like you see this super fucking dorky ass guy like like kind of Mandark, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Misty, Brock, and Erica show up. It's like, oh no, 2 empowered women and a guy with a gym membership. My weakness!
Yeah, I know. It literally is like the nerd guy's like ultimate weakness. But I will say, it's like, I do like how like even like in his battle, like how they do that kind of like combo attack thing, like because that's something that could be like it'd probably be almost a little too complicated in the game, but like the fact that like you could almost like infuse the other Pokemon's attacks with certain abilities and so on from each other, like that's just kind of a cool concept.
Yeah.
And I will say, there's also, like, in between that, there is the part, too, where, like, it cuts away, where, like, Gary's out, like, or, like, Blue's out there training, like, Piccolo. Just, like, off on his own, and he gets, like, this letter comes in, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Professor Oak says, hey, Red's in danger. We're gonna need your help. come on back. He's just fucking sitting up there, like, floating, meditating up there, training even harder. Like, there's no way I can let fucking Kakarot win. It's red. Oh, yeah, well.
I get them mixed up.
I'm sorry, you know. There's this guy, Vegeta, he just, you know, he calls me up every once in a while and just complains and complains and complains, and, you know, I want to be a nice guy and listen to it, so, you know, I try to. You know that thing when you want to kind of hang up but you can't really find an in to kind of get out of the conversation? That's sort of what happens.
Me, Vegeta, Shadow the Hedgehog, and the redheaded guy from Yu Yu Hakusho are all on the same group chat.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those ones where, like, I want to just say, like, I just want to get out of it, just get out of this Yahoo Messenger thing, bullshit, you know.
We're all the rival that somehow befriended our arch enemy.
Yeah, exactly. But that's almost like totally like they've literally made Blue like Piccolo, and it's just almost like he's out there like one day I'm gonna fucking beat Red. You know, I mean, if I train hard enough, I could do it.
And he's out there with his Charizard. It's time to go. You know.
Yeah, and then it cuts back to fucking we're back.
And Blaine comes back like Blaine's like Ponyta phone rings like I'm on the case.
Yeah, like he's got the Ponyta phone. Like
instead of like the red phone in the White House, it's like a Ponyta phone.
Yeah, it's just like a call for Professor Oak or whatever it is. Like I will be there. And then it's like we get back to the super nerds fucking running around Celadon City or whatnot. They're in Celadon City. And he's just like, you know, trying to hide and whatnot, and then they finally come across him and whatnot. And I think that's when they have like all the gym leaders, or the good gym leaders, I guess you could say. They're just like, yo, fucking nerd, put the Marowak down.
Well, the way they even stop him, it's actually because, you know, they can't do any electric attacks on him because it's basically he's insulated in the suit and all that, but they still need him alive. So that's where I want to say he did it. Maybe he sent the idea because eventually Yellow gets knocked out, but he sent the idea telepathically to his Pokemon, to his whole team, to which is have Rattata and Doduo chip away at like this broken building, and there's gonna be reinforced steel in the concrete, and then have Pika basically control the concrete through the reinforced steel, make a barrier holding this asshole down.
Yeah, like magnetic power and so on that will like diffuse, you know, the suit that he's wearing. So it's like it's one of those ones like you read all this stuff, you're like, this book is like so much more complicated than you would ever think it would be. But I was like, that's what I actually kind of think is interesting about it, no matter what.
Because there are those very narrow escapes and very narrow plans. Where, oh wow, that just kind of worked.
Yeah, but
it makes sense of how it got there. And then that's where like, you know, the Agatha or whatever is about to kill him using Dream Eater or something.
Well, I think that comes up a little bit later because
I can't have any fucking witnesses. No, because he starts floating right there after they beat him.
Oh yeah, because Agatha comes out. Yeah, the super nerd.
Yeah, and they're just like, we can't have any witnesses. No snitching.
I just love because right for the Elite Four, it's like this has just been a downhill spiral of like, fuck, like one boy died, and next thing you know, we've already killed like 5 other people.
And they're about to, like, try and kill this thing. And they're like, we gotta save him. Do we like him? We don't give a fuck about him, but he has the info we need.
Yeah, he's a fucking nerd, but, shit. I guess we gotta keep him alive.
Yeah.
It is kind of like... Oh, I was just gonna...
Go ahead.
You say what you're gonna say.
I had nothing to add. It's all good. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying, I just love how it's just like, you just gotta think about it, it's like, you have a character just called, like, Super Nerd who's like, fuck this guy, and it's like, you're reading this as a Pokemon book, you're like, yeah, fuck that nerd, says the guy reading the fucking Pokemon book.
These fucking nerds. Like, you're just imagining just, like, some jacked guy, like, doing, like, lifting, like, with one arm has this manga, the other arm, he's, like, doing, like, with a dumbbell, just, like, fucking nerds.
Yeah, you're doing like a bent press or something like that. Just like, yeah, fucking.
He's like, oh, what? My man, Pikachu, yeah!
It's funny because there's this like,
oh, sweet, it's a fucking Pidgey.
There's like this old guy who like kind of does all these workout videos online and whatnot, and he kid you not, he'll wear like the Pikachu shirt that's like where Pikachu's all fucking jacked. So he's like going to the gym, and I think this is one of these guys. I think he's just like old school kind of nerd because he always has like Fantastic Four stuff on. So I'm assuming that like that was his jam, but he'll wear other stuff too. I notice.
Is it like the Ego Raptor illustration where Pikachu's just suddenly jacked, like charged like a Dragon Ball Z like character like that one?
I want to say it's that. I want to say it's that exact one.
Where he has the puckered lips even, his eyes are all wide, like it's almost frightening looking.
Yeah, I want to say, unless it's maybe one, it's a little bit like someone took that idea and then did their own. I'm not too sure, but it has that look to it.
And that's where Blue comes in and knocks out the Ghastly that was doing Dream Eater on him. And I'm not sure if he flat out kills it.
He like slices it in half or something like that.
He's like, fuck it, it's a Ghastly. No one likes these.
Yeah. Well, because it's almost, that's the kind of thing about Blue. Is Blue's that kind of person who's like, I don't have a problem with killing. You know what I mean? I get shit done. You know, that, like, it's one of those ones, like, I will say, like, I really do like Blue a lot. Like, to me, it's like, and he literally is like the Piccolo character by far now. And it's just almost like, fuck it, I like this guy. He takes the fucking work real serious and so on. Like, you know, he doesn't fucking pussyfoot around. He's just like, he fucking comes in, just kicks ass, calls it good. And whatnot.
He's got the weird badass anime like cape duster thing with the random Final Fantasy single shoulder pad.
Yeah, exactly. And they just get that point where there's like, where Yellow's like, I'm not strong enough, but he's like, but Blue, you're a master trader. Will you take me under your wing? I'll be like Gohan to your, Piccolo. You know, the Saiyans are coming in 9 months.
No, he already wore the entire for it.
And it is that one. And all of a sudden, I like the ones like Blue's like, he's like, yeah, but. Are you willing to say that you could kill? You know, because I can't have anybody who can't kill on my team. You know, I want you to have my back when we go back to Vietnam to fucking rescue Red. You know, like a POW. Like that one movie with fucking Gene Hackman in the 80s where he goes back and saves all those POWs that America wasn't going to go get themselves. That's what we're going to do. I can't remember what that was.
Or it's like a gang initiation. Like, we're going to walk into the 7-Eleven. When I give you the cue, you don't ask.
Yeah, exactly.
You just aim this Charizard at what I tell you to.
Yeah, you just fucking do it. You know, because that's sort of how it is. And Yellow even does say, though, like, he's like, I will fucking, like, he's like, sign me up. I'll do whatever it takes. You know, so that almost makes you kind of wonder, is like, is he going to combine the power of love with also, the strength and, kung fu abilities of Blue, like that determination.
Well, he already did a few attacks earlier on, but just enough to get him out of there. And he even, one of the things that kind of proved himself to everybody else is there's just like a random like Caterpie that was on like a tree, and he like basically took a hit for the thing and almost died trying to protect it. So, and that was the thing that Blue brought up. He's like, Red would have done that, but he would have found a way to not get hit in the process and still take the thing down. So there's a lot of things you still got to figure out.
Yeah, because he does say that there, too. He's like, you think you're good, but you're not good enough. I'm Blue. I know all this stuff. I'm 13 years old.
I've seen the world. And that's where, like, and that's where he hops on with Blue. And he's like, all right, you can come with me. And that's kind of a cool team up right there. And, like, the guy who's just cold and calculating and the guy that's all heart, but they're both very efficient. It's not like the guy who's just be tripping over his own fucking dick the whole time, because he's just hapless. But then they also have, like, out of that's where, and I think this makes his team interesting. Like, it's not a team that I'd want in the game, but it's sometimes just interesting to see what he has. So basically, that's where Brock gave him, like, why don't you take my Graveler for help? And Misty's like, why don't you take my Omnanite too? So now his team is like Rattatat, a Duo, Pikachu, Graveler, Omnanite, and maybe something else. I don't remember if there's.
I can't remember. Does he still have that Seadra? Like that? Because there's that Seadra that like
he did capture a Seadra. He did capture one, but I don't know if it's part of his team. But yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of, I will say that because that's the thing is, you look at the show, and the show almost kind of did the thing where they're like, well, what's the fucking big money Pokemon? You know what I mean? Like, we'll show the other ones in the background and maybe for an episode, but beyond that, though, it was kind of like, let's focus on the big ones, which I like this one because it'll choose like the most like random-ass Pokemon and like make you go like, yeah, that Pokemon is pretty badass. You know what I mean?
And the next one's a flashback issue going back to like shortly after Indigo Plateau. And Blue is just surfing on his Golduck because it's just Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
he cannot look more bored.
It's like whatever, like you know what I mean, like shit.
He cannot look more bored. And then I like that. This goes back to something we were talking like the first volume of this. A lot of the characters are more violent than you assume. Because I see Lapras, I just assumed it's this kind, majestic, just creature. This thing's like, no, this thing's fucking angry and it likes to eat.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, and Blue gets in this big hardcore battle with it and whatnot, and weakens it down, and then he goes to capture it, and I love how there's like this kid. He's like, "Hey, that's my Pokemon. What are you doing?" And Blue just kind of looks and goes, "Huh?" I'm like, "No, I just captured this. What do you mean?" He's like, "No, that's my Pokemon." Whatnot. He's like, "Well, I should have been able to capture it if it's actually yours." He's like, "Well, I've been tracking it for 3 weeks." And I just love how Blue's, for the second that he hears that, he's like, "Oh, you're one of those fucking trainers." Yeah.
Well, I even
Pokemon.
like he says, like, what's he say? He says, as he's walking away, he's like, "Oh, you're one of those trainers." And it's like in quotation marks.
Yeah, it's like, it really is. He just kind of goes like, "Yeah, that fucking trainer."
Oh, it says like, "Oh, that kind of trainer." Well, son, I'm afraid the Lapras is mine. Just walks off.
Yeah, well, that's what I just like about Blue. It's like he's fucking all business. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? There's no middle ground for him. But of course, this kid does kind of go like, "Yo, like, my Haunter was taken away, and they're doing fucking dirty shit over there at the power plant." And I like how even Blue's like, he's talking to like his, grandpa. He's like, "Well, I thought there was no fucking reason to go back to the power plant since Zapdos wasn't there. Once again, fucking all business."
Yeah.
But it's like, I can't remember what's the reason why they have to go back there. There's something that Oak, says like, "Yo, Blue, you got."
There's like weird energy hopping up over there. Recent rumors have been circulating. Suspicious-looking shadows float out the old power plant. Yeah, and that's the kid's Haunter goes over there, and now he's just like, "All right, well, I guess we'll go." And that's where you find out. I don't remember this being part of the lore, but apparently a lot of the ghost characters aren't actually ghosts. They're smog created through just radiation and all that. And this power plant scared off a lot of natural creatures, and that's where all the smog and ghosts and ghastly and all those things come from. So
I want to say in like the little descriptions in like the original Pokemon, it would say like something about smog. And on one of the ghastly Haunters or Gengar ones, I want to say there was like just enough that I could see them kind of taking it and then running with it to the next level.
Possibly, yeah. And that's where they're just going through the old power plant, and the kid's all scared. Blue is just like, piccoloing it up right there. And they get into this big battle with just different creatures there, and he's calm the whole time. The kid's like, "What are we gonna do, Blue?" He's like, "Well, first off, you're gonna shut the fuck up, and you're gonna let me work, all right?"
Yeah. Let the big boys do their work now, fucking. Yeah, like you
and
wish
that's
you had Lapras.
That's where Agatha comes in, like, "You're the blood of the man I once loved and now hate." Some shit like that.
Yeah, and he ran away with that other woman, not me.
Like, I don't know if it is something like that, but I can see it being something to that effect. She has it out for Oak. Agatha does.
Yeah, because for some reason, like, Oak did something. Like, it was almost like he was a part of the Elite Four. Like, they were fucking like this rock band in the 60s, and then,
He went on a solo career.
Yeah, exactly. He fucking like Ozzy Osbourne did or something like that, and like started his own band that became even more popular, and they were like all getting pissy about it or something like that. I don't know.
Well, he even in this version, maybe that is the case. Maybe it was at one point in time the Elite Five, because we saw how he looks without the lab coat. He's fucking jacked and comes out like a Nucho Libre.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So there's something there that's tying Oak to all this, which I still think that's a very interesting concept, and like I can't wait to see how that sort of unfolds. But
and go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say back to this battle though. Is like this kind of battle rages on between them, and then at some point, like I think Blue steps in the way so the little kid doesn't get hit. Like not that he really wants to, but like he's just like, "Get the fuck out of the way, man!" And then he gets caught in like this like coffin thing by Gengar, who's doing the Dream Eater sleep thing to him.
He does that, and then he starts having flashbacks to his training, and his master, who we don't see the face of, which, for certain, just like you're just expecting to be Oak or somebody like that, but no, just this master who you don't see, and he's doing like swords with those fake swords. He's doing practice with those fake swords. This whole thing is like, yeah, sure, you can train your Pokemon, but they're not going to respect you as much. You got to take the hits. You got to know what they're going through. So that's why you got to also train yourself physically and mentally. And he's having this flashback while he's basically stuck in like this Dream Eater thing.
Yeah, it's like that classic martial arts. Like he's dropped off like almost like on an island to fucking train. Like, it's just like, well, this one's like this hardcore training that Blue has gone through his whole life. And it's they're like Gengar's doing the Dream Eater and whatnot, like the little kid, like I can't remember if there's like Blue's able to still talk to him, but it's like the little kid's like, yo. Or
he basically what he does is he's having the Golduck read his mind.
Oh, that's
right. And then
right.
Golduck is transporting the text onto the Pokedex so the kid can read it. The kid's like, but I'm too scared. Like behind that lady's a bunch of Pokeballs. One of them has to be your Haunter. Get it out and attack her. That way I can get out of this thing because that's the only way I'm going to break out of it. And then he's like, but I'm too scared. It's just like, bitch, be a fucking man. It has this
Who's the one getting dream eaten right now? Shut the fuck up.
It's about that basically you see it's kind of him like he when he's a little kid he's getting like beaten with a stick. He's like, well, why do you have to get beat with a stick, master? So you know what it's like to be a Pokemon
because
trainer.
I hate children.
And your grandpa dropped you off on my Beat Children Island. It's a big neon sign right across it. Welcome to Beat Children Island.
It's just it's one of those. It's my thing,
Here's you must be this tall to get a stick.
Yeah, because once they get taller than that, though, there's that chance that they're gonna beat me with the stick, and I don't want that to happen.
It's just a power dynamic thing. It's hard to explain. A lot of repressed childhood memories. Anyway, here's your stick. Let's go beat some kids.
But he finally gets that Haunter out and whatever, and the Haunter just does like kind of like just a little attack because of course it's probably only like level 5 or something like that, and it's just enough to distract the Gengar so that like Blue can kind of like break free and like Gengar can like lose his concentration on the Dream Eater thing. And then
kill the Gengar and the Ghastly because he's like, these things don't have souls.
Yeah, because then like Scyther's like he uses like Cut or something like that, like an attack that wouldn't work on like Ghost Pokemon normally, but like it's like Blue has like that kind of ultra like focus and training and whatnot that like he could train that Scyther to like be able to kill those Ghost Pokemon still.
They make the whole thing is they make a point to. What's happening here is it's generally there's the core, and the core is a physical thing, and it can teleport around. But what you usually see of them is just the smog. So if you can get through the smog and actually hit the core, which is very hard to do, then you can kill him.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like he's gone through, boom, gets him, takes him out, and whatnot. And then, what do they do, escape out of there?
They escape out of there, yeah. And I'm guessing this might actually, I don't know, maybe I misread it earlier, because you see him, oh, wait, no, it's a flashback. For a split second, I was thinking, wait, maybe this takes because I see there's the Charmeleon instead of a Charizard, but I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's a flashback. He's talking about how he got possessed by a Gengar before and all that. And then, he gets out of there and he's like, yo, kid, I don't like you, but take this Lapras. I don't fucking need it. And this Lapras looks like, I'm gonna eat this fucking thing. I'm just looking down at the kid.
Yeah, just like, and that was the last we ever saw of little Timmy.
You want it? You can have it. No!
That's
Who's
almost,
that Pokemon?
Yeah, that almost seems like kind of like, fuck it, yeah, Blue's just like, what? He couldn't fucking handle his own Pokemon, It's not my fucking problem.
So now here we are. That's the end of this volume, and we'll be going on. I think there's 2 more of this saga. So, and it's interesting how it did the thing where it presents a new character, and then it's suddenly, oh, his enemy and the new character are kind of the new main characters of the series.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost that thing where it's like, hey, we're gonna kind of see them trying to like save Red and see how that kind of all unfolds, and I don't know, it's just one of those ones like it sounds so weird because it's like I feel like I'm hooked into this like no different than like I would have been hooked into Pokemon like in 1998. It's like that thing where it's just like, man, these books are so fucking good. It seems so weird to think about that because most of the time it's like you have these kind of tie-in ones and they're always still fun, but they're mostly never like at that like legendary level. You know what I mean? And like this thing's like shit. This is like one of the best comic book series I've ever read.
I feel like the next one, because I'm looking at the other volumes. It looks like is there 6 or 7 of these?
There's 7 of the red and blue ones.
Okay. Well, it looks like I don't know how much. I mean, not trying to spoil anything. Looking at the covers, it looks like we got Red back at least by volume 6. but he's not in the front. So I don't know if he's just there or what, but we'll see what happens. So Red does come back eventually, or unless he just comes back as an Obi-Wan Kenobi ghost. I don't know.
Yeah, well, realistically, I can kind of see it being like, yo, which game are we pushing right now? We're pushing yellow, so make that character the main one.
I can see that, yeah.
Okay, well, does that mean that we're gonna have a pinball character? No, don't be fucking stupid.
There could be a pinball thing in the back somewhere.
Just the Pokemon pinball. Though I will say that Pokemon pinball game on Game Boy, at least at the time, with the fucking Rumble Pack built into it, was pretty sweet.
I could see that being cool. Actually, I played that one. I remember just being like, I played it for a little while and I thought it was fun, but I wasn't like in love with it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I think that was still also that time period where it's like anything Pokemon didn't matter because it's just one of those ones like you just wanted more Pokemon, so you would take anything that there was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this series is fucking amazing. Can't wait to read the next one. But beyond all that good fun stuff, go check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, comic books like Pizza Boys. There's a new issue 10 out on Amazon right now. And then all that other fun stuff we got up there. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
And we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks again for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Sure, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, animation, and a whole lot more. We also have the Old Man Orange blog going with all kinds of fun stuff. If you easily want to support the show, use one of our Amazon links either on the website or in the description of the podcast below. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show either on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Newgrounds, or anywhere else that you seem to get this podcast from. Grab the sitcom-styled comic book Pizza Boys on either Comic Central, Comixology, or Amazon. Want more podcasts? Check out the Indie Comics Club over at Comic Central. I also got a workout website called Thor's Hidden Gym, filled with fitness tips and tricks, videos, and a whole lot more fun stuff in the calisthenics world. Talk to us on Twitter at Spencer S. Holmes and Dunnigan Ryan. Like our Facebook pages of Old Man Orange Productions and Pizza Boys Comic. Thanks again, we're out of here.